I'm Diane Rosagnola with NAREIT, and I'm here today with John Murray, President and CEO of Service Properties Trust. John, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Diane. How are you?
Service Properties Trust owns a diverse portfolio of hotels and net lease service and necessity-based retail properties across the U.S. and in Canada. What opportunities do you see for lodging coming out of the pandemic?
We see, I think that the real opportunity, is guests, particularly after being locked up for 18 months, are really hoping that their next travel experience is really going to be an experience, and that somehow, somebody's going to surprise them with outstanding service or something unexpected that goes, above and beyond in terms of service or amenities or that sort of thing. So it's a very interesting time, and we're really excited about getting people back. Right now, it's the leisure travel is coming back most quickly, and the interesting thing for us in trying to think about the opportunities is trying to get a better understanding, like when we talk about employees returning to work and the pandemic coming, seeming like it's coming to an end, and what's the balance between it if an employee isn't coming to work or is working remotely half the week, will they travel as much? Like if they can't wrap their head around getting into the office, can they wrap their head around getting on a plane and going to visit customers? And can executive teams wrap their heads around, this person doesn't come to the office, but he doesn't have any problem going to the conference in Miami, So maybe executive teams in Miami would feel different about that than executive teams in Boston. But anyway, so there's a lot of challenges and opportunities with workforces to find that right positioning. So it's going to be very interesting next couple of years.
And you recently rebranded 200 hotels under the Sonesta flag. Can you talk about the transition and the Sonesta platform?
Sure. Yeah, we were part of the acquisition of Sonesta. We bought their hotels, and an affiliate of ours bought their management company back in 2012 during the Great Recession. We had some defaults that we worked our way through and renegotiated some agreements, but at the time, we felt like we were in a position where our operators were going to give back the keys on hundreds of properties, and we didn't have an alternative close at hand. And acquiring and establishing our relationship with Sonesta was helpful to us, giving us that alternative. And we grew Sonesta to managing 56 hotels between 2012 and 2019. And so it was a decent sized hotel company, but it wasn't a huge hotel company, and it was mostly focused along the Eastern Seaboard, so not really well-known brand across the country or outside of the country. And so this opportunity came about with the pandemic, where we had an opportunity to rebrand those 200 hotels. And it's always challenging because the hotel company that's losing those hotels, they stop taking reservations. They call their rewards members and who have booked stays and tell them, you won't get your rewards from us. You'll get rewards from this new company. Maybe you should move to one of our other hotels. And so by the time you actually transition the hotels, occupancies are lower. Sometimes employee morale isn't initially good. And so we took over these 200 hotels, and we had a pretty good response with general managers and directors of sales and other key executive positions coming with the hotels, and mostly have had good experiences with them since then. And So Sonesta has gone from 56 hotels, in December of 2019 to 256 hotels at the end of the first quarter. And they've been opportunistic in that many of the hotel companies furloughed employees during the downturn, and so there were a number of really, really talented industry professionals that had experience with the biggest brands, and Sonesta was able to hire them to expand their management team. They opened a shared services office in Orlando to help them provide accounting and IT and HR services across the platform of extended stay and select service hotels, and they've really built out a platform to be a I think that they're the 8th largest hotel company in the United States today, from being unknown before the pandemic.
Really, how do you see business travel evolving post-pandemic?
If corporate controllers and CFOs are looking at their P&Ls and saying, well, it's a lot easier, it's a lot less expensive for my people to do Zoom calls than to get on airplanes and pay for hotels, I think there's going to be a mix of that initially, and I think there's going to be some business people who just want to wait and make sure travel is safe before they travel for work. And because there's a lot of businesses that haven't returned to work, in some cases you may want to go visit with somebody, but if they're not back to work, it might be awkward to figure out how you're going to make that work. So anyway, for those reasons, I think, and just because of the simplicity of these virtual chats, I think that we were part of an investor conference earlier today with Janney Montgomery Scott, and we were talking about this very thing, and the investor was working remotely and something went wrong with his internet at home or something. Anyway, he dropped off the call, and he had to dial back in. We waited for him for a few minutes, and I said, well, that's one of the other benefits of meeting in person. Your internet doesn't go down, or your connection doesn't get weak, or your signal doesn't get lost. You're there in person. And so I think over time, I think humans are very social by nature, and that business travel will come back. I just think it's going to take longer. The leisure business is going to, there's over a year and a half of weddings and bar mitzvahs, and I think I saw something this morning. I think it's a study of maybe Motel 6 commissioned, but as a new grandparent, I immediately agreed to it. That all the grandparents, there are a lot of grandparents in America who are in that age bracket that do the most travel and have the most disposable income, and so they're very important guests to the hotel business. And the very first thing grandparents wanted to do when they got a chance to travel is to see their grandchildren. And so that's, when you're thinking about where do I put a hotel, how do you figure out where the most grandchildren are? So anyway, there's a lot of interesting dynamics at play, but I think all of those are good things that are going to lead to business recovery for hotels, which they need desperately. So we're excited about the future.
John, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
For more from NAREIT's REIT Week, visit REIT.com.